All right. How's it going, everybody? This is Glen Ritter, host of the Fourth and Fun show. That's our second episode. Really excited to have some great guys here join the show this week. It's a lot of fun. We just like to talk about a lot of different topics. Do some like trivia questions. Going to keep score, and then we'll have a winner at the end. We'll decide on that throughout the show. Everybody gets to give a chance to share their opinions on a lot of different topics. But first, let's meet the rest of the people joining the show today. So first of all, we've got Alden Kay. Alden, tell everybody a little bit about yourself. Where are you from, and what teams do you cover?
Yeah, so I'm from born and raised Arizona. Lived out here my whole life. Been a diehard Arizona sports fan for as long as I can remember. Some of that's unfortunately, but I stick with my teams. And I've been pretty much since I joined IE Sports Radio, just been giving updates all over X, sometimes Instagram about my teams. I did a lot today regarding the MLB trade deadline. The Diamondbacks were obviously big time sellers today, so did a lot of that on there. Did some videos for the shorts. But yeah, overall, big day for Arizona sports. Lately, I've been focused on Cardinals training camp, which is going pretty good so far. Then, of course, for the Suns as well, we'll see if they can get better with the young guys that they got. But yeah, I cover everything Arizona sports, and definitely some a lot's been going on lately with them. So some pretty good stuff there.
Oh, awesome! Yeah. Speaking of trade deadline, I see that your Diamondbacks did make some moves, but nothing compared to what the Minnesota Twins did today. I think they traded away about 25% of their 40-man roster in the last couple of days. 10 players got traded out: Carlos Correa, Harrison Bader, Johan Duran, Griffin Jacks. Every single guy in the bullpen. I have no idea who's going to be on the field when they or on the team when they take the field in their next game. So definitely going to be looking forward to that. But let's stop talking about. We'll get to the trade deadline stuff questions here in a bit. But let's meet our other guest here. Welcome, Josh. How are you doing?
Hey, Glenn, glad to be on it, fellow Ritter, as you know. Yes, exactly, not related. But yeah, so I'm out here in far northern California, which has absolutely nothing to do with any of the teams that I follow. So like Alden, I am a Phoenix Suns fan. I'm also a Miami Dolphins fan, and we're doing a lot of Dolphins content right now with the Dolphins in training camp and ramping up towards the preseason. And Blue Jays right now, like we're actually buyers. So we'll get to hopefully to talk about what the Blue Jays did at the deadline here. And the Florida Panthers, 2-time Stanley Cup champions, and Oregon Ducks football. So yeah, I'm kind of all over the place, but I love it.
Yeah, you cover all the whole country. Yeah, you guys got a couple of the Blue Jays got a couple of players from the Twins today, and Ty France and Louis Varland, which was a little surprising from our end, just because after trading Duran and Griffin Jacks, we thought that maybe Louis Varland would step into that closer role, but apparently he's going to join the bullpen up in Toronto. So. Best of luck with him. With all of these guys that other teams wanted, you figured that the Twins would have been a better team this year. But they're 51 and 57 right now. I'm putting the money. If I had to bet over 60 wins, I'd probably pick the under. I just feel like they're going to be just a dismal team for the rest of the season. But I don't want to get on my soapbox. That's not what this show is all about. But yeah, again, welcome, guys. Really appreciate you joining. Let's jump into some of our trade or the trade deadline questions. So first of all, who can answer this question? Who is the only player to be traded at the trade deadline with at least 35 homers? We should have somebody here that would be able to answer that question.
I'm already getting stabbed in the heart here. Yeah.
I'll
go ahead.
Alden.
All right, go ahead, Alden.
That would be just happened last night, actually. The Diamondbacks traded Eugenio Suarez to the Seattle Mariners.
That's right. That is it. Let's see here. Let's do one of these. Let's do ding, ding, ding. There you go. All right. Yay. Okay. Very cool. Well, let's check the comments too. I want to make sure that everybody's tuning in. So we got Brian joining as well. Thanks for tuning in. And Ricky K from the New York area. Thanks for tuning in. And Big Mike's in the building too. All right. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. Really appreciate it. If you know these answers to these questions, throw them in the chat as well, and we'll keep going along. So we'll make a note that Alden got that first question. We'll let Josh be the first to try and answer this next question. So, which MLB team features the most players being traded, or which MLB season featured the most players being traded? And for a bonus, how many players?
Well, given your comment about Minnesota, I'm going to go with the Twins.
Well, this is for an entire season. Entire the MLB in general.
MLB
which MLB season
featured the most players traded?
Yes.
Oh gosh,
it's a tricky one. I had no idea.
I will say it's this season. It's been quite a trade deadline, so I'll just guess this season. I have no idea how many players.
Okay. Alden, do you have a guess on this question?
So, well, this year there definitely have been a lot of players being moved. One of the craziest I've seen in a while.
Yep.
Well,
I'll give you a hint. It's not this year.
Oh, it's not. Okay.
No.
So if it's not this year, I remember. Let's see. I remember in 2021 there were a lot of players who got traded. I'll go with that as my final answer if it's not this year. But other than that, I remember in 2021 that was one of the busiest trade deadlines I've seen. So I'll go with 2021.
That was it. 2021 was the season that had the most trades. And let me look at the exact number of trades or number of players traded. I believe it was 158 players were traded that season. But it was 158 total, and 87 of them had been playing in the majors at that time. So.
70 prospects.
Yeah, that was a huge trade season. Anyway, so let's go to the next question we've got here. See, so in your opinion, I'll give each of you guys a chance to answer this one. Which team made the best trades to put their team in the World Series conversation? Who would you pick and think would be a team that made a lot of great moves or just really filled their holes that they had on their roster?
I mean, for me, I already was really high on the Seattle Mariners, but what they did, and I hate to do this to Alden, but picking up Suarez and Naylor, like that team made the necessary moves to put themselves in a position where they can climb the standings in the latter half of the year. And I enjoy seeing a team in a smaller market that kind of hasn't had that success really go all in. Seeing the small market teams, it's not the Yankees, it's not the Dodgers, typical teams you'd expect the trade deadline to just dump a bunch of money at people. It's cool to see a team like the Mariners, and I'm kind of low-key rooting for them outside of the Blue Jays just because they're stuck in that Pacific Northwest, and they're going all in, and I appreciate that. So I'm going to go with the Seattle Mariners.
All right, fair enough. I think that's a good choice. How about for you, Alden? Do you have a differing opinion, or what are your thoughts?
I definitely do agree with the Mariners getting Gino and Josh Naylor from the Diamondbacks. So they made another trade with us for a good player that can elevate their team, and definitely with their division. It's definitely possible. They just got to, and with the American League too, the American League has not really been one of the toughest conferences this season. So anybody can really get out of there. So the Mariners are definitely up there. This might be a long shot, but I'm gonna go with the Mets. I was gonna say the Padres, but this year alone, the Padres did pretty good. They brought in, and Ricky just brought it up. They brought in Mason Miller, and they were able to keep Suarez as well. So they have two pretty decent closers on their team now. I just don't like the fact that the Padres gave up the third best MLB prospect in order to get him. So I'm gonna go with the Mets. This might be a little bit of a long shot here, but one of the Mets' biggest concerns for so far this season going in has been their pitchers. Some of them have been injured. They haven't been staying healthy, and that I thought pitching was going to determine how the Mets season was going to go, and they definitely upgraded that a lot at the deadline. They were able to get Ryan Helsley from the Cardinals and Tyler Rogers from the Giants. They did ship out a lot of prospects for those two pitchers alone. Drew Gilbert being one of them, who they had recently just got in a trade the previous year. But for this year alone, they were able to bring in, especially with their bullpen dealing with injuries, they were able to bring in two guys who are having pretty decent seasons. And I think that if they can find ways to close games a lot better now with those two relievers, and also bringing in Cedric Mullins as well from the Orioles. So they have another outfielder there as well who can put the ball in play. And I think the Mets are on track to win their division this season. It really just depends if they can go on a streak after this deadline right here with the new players that they got. But I do like what the Mets did at this trade deadline. So I'll go with the Mets. I think that with the way they've been playing this season and then adding a pretty good bullpen to it, I think that they can do some pretty good things going forward.
Awesome. Yeah. So Big Mike definitely agrees on the Mariners. And as you mentioned, Ricky's, in favor of what the Padres have done. I think anytime that the teams are adding players like this, you mentioned the Padres giving up the number 3 overall prospect in Major League Baseball, which could come back to bite them in the rear end, which we've seen over the years. But there's so many times that when it comes to trades and trading prospects, I know in Minnesota, we've always been like, the future's bright. We've got all of these guys. I remember back when we had Buxton and Sano as the 2 of the top 5 prospects in all of Major League Baseball. And Buxton's never healthy, and Sano ate his way out of the league. So things like that can happen with young players. So to me, you got to take the chance when you can. If it pays off and you get that World Series, that's great. So I'm gonna give both of you the heavy cheering, right? I love it. All right, let's see here. Let's go to actually, you mentioning Taylor Rogers. I think this is probably the first time that twin brothers have been traded on the same day in separate trades, because Taylor and Tyler Rogers were both traded today. I'm not sure exactly. One went to the Mets, and I'm not sure which one went where, but I just saw that both of them were traded today. So anyway, interesting trade deadline. As I mentioned, for the Twins, as Big Mike said, just sell the team. For my birthday, it's on Saturday. So if that could happen, if the trade, actually, I was hoping that the GM would be able to trade the owners, just because if you've ever listened to me talk on my shows, 2 years ago, the Twins were in great shape. They knocked Josh's Blue Jays out of the playoffs that year. They actually won a round for the first time in 20 years. And as soon as they get to the offseason, they lost to the Astros, which were a better team. But as soon as they get to the offseason, then the ownership group says, we need to cut the payroll by $30 million. And so rather than investing in the team, they've just keep cutting costs, and the fans don't show up. They have one of the lowest attendance records because they didn't capitalize on that momentum. So with all of those contracts going out, especially Carlos Correa's, I think they're it's a good point there, Ricky. How much a rejuvenated Correa will give back when he gets to Houston. I mean, he's going to be playing third base now rather than shortstop because Jeremy Pena is still going to be there. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I just think that the whole organization for the Twins is just kind of in a just in a funk. I mean, nobody really wants to play there. Chris Paddock was taking shots after going to Detroit, saying that didn't have a good experience in Minnesota. The kitchen wasn't very good. All the facilities are better in Detroit, and anything that he could take a shot at, he did.
I think I can speak for Alden and say that as Suns fans, we understand what it means to have an owner that doesn't take care of their team. We lived that a few years ago, so we keenly aware of how frustrating that can be.
Yeah, and it's just to try and invest in the team. Yeah, that's where my frustration comes in is like. You had you had Sonny Gray as a free agent, leaving a free agency, and you didn't even try to re-sign him. He was going to be making the same amount of money, about $20 million a year is what he got from St. Louis. You could have offered him a similar contract, but instead they just did the qualifying offer, took the draft pick, and away they went. So anyway, let's take a little break here, guys. Let's hear from some of our sponsors. And again, you're watching Fourth and Fun. We will be right back in just a minute.
Hi, eSports Radio fans. This show is brought to you by Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky. Planet Jerky is the official jerky of the 2022 California League champion Lake Elsinore Storm, single A affiliate of the San Diego Padres. This all brisket jerky has gluten-free options, contains no MSG, no sodium nitrate, is low in sugar, and high in protein. Go to their website at planetjerky.net and follow them on Instagram at Planet Jerky. Planet Jerky, the jerky that's on a whole other planet.
Rise and shine. It's 4 a.m. The stars are still out. The sun is beneath the horizon, but it's time to punch in and go to work. The comfort of your warm-ups turns into the grinding out of your reps as the clinking and the clanking of the plates create a symphony of euphoria. There's no other feeling like it. Earn it, burn it, and take what's yours. iSports Radio has proudly partnered with Vital Apparel, a brand that not only fits great, but also promotes and donates to mental health research. Use our code IESR to get 15% off their comfortable and inspiring gym wear and help them on their amazing journey to support mental health. Go hard, take part in your iron therapy, and be strong. Because when your mental health is as strong as you are, there's no telling how far you'll go.
All right. Welcome back, everyone. Again, make sure you check out our sponsors. Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky is absolutely fabulous. I mention every show I'm on. I always have at least 2 bags of that stuff in my house or at work. It's a great afternoon snack, mid-morning snack. Need a little protein, help get you through the rest of your workday. Works perfect for me. And then Vital Apparel, obviously, great workout gear. Proceeds go to help mental health. Use the code IESR and get a discount on your order. So, again, welcome back to Fourth and Fun. I'm your host, Glen Ritter, again. Also, I don't think I mentioned this at the beginning of the show, but I'm the Minnesota insider, as we've kind of talked a little bit about all my Minnesota teams. And, so you can always check out my short little videos that I post on a regular basis. I'll be posting some tonight after we're done with the show about the Twins trade deadline and things like that. But let's talk about the Hall of Fame, NFL Hall of Fame. Hall of Fame games on tonight. Lots of fun, right? First of all, do either of you plan to watch any of the Hall of Fame game tonight?
Football's back. Of course. Of course. It's actually on right behind me right now. And as soon as we're done with this pod, I'll be watching the rest of the game. It's football. It doesn't mean anything. And it's not, they're probably not even going to play anybody that matters, but that's okay because it's been a long 7 months waiting for football.
Absolutely. All right. How about you, Alden? Yeah. You going to watch it?
Yeah. I'll be watching a little bit of it. I'm keeping tabs on it a little bit on my other computer here. I see the Chargers who were starting Trey Lance. He threw a touchdown on their first drive. So Chargers currently lead 7-0. So a little bit of an update on there. But I just because it's football, I'll watch it a little bit. With how disappointing the Suns and Diamondbacks are, I feel like the Cardinals, that's my long shot that I have left now. So anything football related, I'll keep tabs on a little bit. But yeah, it's been a long off season, especially with my team having a good off season. I'm just waiting for September now for the regular season. Something I never thought I'd say, but I am. I can't wait for Cardinals football this year. So yeah, definitely the Hall of Fame game I'll keep tabs on, and other preseason as well when that time comes.
Cool. All right. Yeah. I've been checked out of the Twins since training camp, since spring training, just because of the ownership situation. So I don't really try to follow them too much, but my son's a huge baseball fan. So we talk a little bit about the games, but really don't catch many of them. So anyway, I'm definitely looking forward to the football games. It's going to be interesting to see how I'm very optimistic about the Vikings. I think they're going to be a pretty good team this year. But let's get into some questions about the Hall of Fame. So first of all, who are the only pair of brothers to both be enshrined in the NFL Hall of Fame?
Sterling and Shannon, baby. Right now.
Yep. That is correct. So let's go down to got to do my little applause. There you go. There you go. Way to
I almost said Peyton and Eli.
Yeah. Well, they they'll come up to one of my other questions. Okay, so my next question for you is which 2025 inductee scored a record 116 touchdowns as a tight end? And then as a bonus, where did he play college football?
It's Antonio Gates. I don't know where he played college football, though.
You're correct. It is Antonio Gates.
Antonio Gates. The second part, he played at. Wasn't he? Wait, did he even? Kansas State?
You're getting close.
Kent State? It was.
He went to Kent State.
Yeah.
But he only played basketball. Didn't play football at all.
I remember he played basketball. Yeah, he was a good basketball player.
Yeah. He didn't play any college football. So,
and he's the first one that ever made it to the NFL Hall of Fame without having played college football. I remember hearing that stat about an hour and a half ago.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. Good job. Good for you there. Way to come up with some good information there. Okay, so next question. So how many inductees are in this class? And because it's the smallest Hall of Fame class since 2005. So do you? How many?
4 people.
4 people.
4.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. Perfect. Okay. Now, let's see. So who do you think is the finalist that was the biggest snub from this class? And I'm going to have those scrolling across the bottom. Is there anybody in there that you think deserves to be in over Eric Allen, Shannon Sharp, Jared Allen, or who am I missing?
Am I obvious enough? I guess I'll go first then.
Sure.
It is an absolute travesty that one of the top 2 or 3 offensive tackles of the 1990s, Richmond Webb, is not in the Hall of Fame yet. He's been a finalist for many years in a row. There's a huge push from Dolphins fans to get Richmond Webb in the Hall of Fame. He will make it eventually, I believe. But it is an absolute travesty that we are here in 2025 and Richmond Webb, who was literally one of the best offense tackles in an entire decade, is not in the Hall of Fame.
Okay, I'm there with you on that. Let me go back to my applause button. Yeah, I think that. So, but he wasn't even one of the 15 finalists. I think he has to come through the senior committee.
He will need to. He's been a finalist several times in the last 5 years. He just hasn't been able to quite get enough votes. But when they get to the senior team, when they get to that level, he'll make it in because he absolutely should be in. And he's been a finalist several times. But it with all of the good players that come around, it's been tough for him. But I mean, the Dolphins didn't win enough. And that's really what it is. He didn't play enough big games. But I mean, I was a teenager in the 90s, and the man was absolutely dominant. And he's a big reason why Dan Marino was as good as he was, because he didn't ever have to worry about his blind side in the 90s.
Yeah, I'm there with you on that. Alden, is there anybody on that list that you think deserves to be in over the guys that were selected?
Yeah, I'll be a little bit biased. Even though this guy only played for my team for like half a season, he did go to my college, ASU. And Terrell Suggs, I'm kind of disappointed he didn't get in. A guy who is a 2-time Super Bowl champion, 1-time Defensive Player of the Year, Defensive Rookie of the Year, first team All-Pro, I believe 7, maybe 8-time Pro Bowler. He has the most career tackles for loss, which is over 200, I believe. Like 40, maybe 50 forced fumbles. He did it all on defense. And he really helped the Ravens be the defense that they were when they were dominating and winning and won their Super Bowl in 2013. And he was a stud ever since his ASU days as well. So definitely kind of disappointed that he didn't get in, but he's definitely going to get in at some point, maybe in the next one. But I was also shocked when guys like Eli Manning didn't get in, but to be honest, I wasn't as shocked at that. But he'll get into at some point. Like, there's a lot of players on here that didn't get in this year that we'll see at some point. But I feel like Terrell Suggs definitely was a guy who should have gotten in this season.
Yeah, I got to give you some applause for that one, because I love Terrell Suggs. He was a great player for the Ravens. I think he actually grew up in Minnesota, so I think because he's a cousin of Jalen Suggs, I believe, who went to Minnehaha Academy in Minneapolis. So anyway, I definitely agree with you there. It's interesting you mentioned Eli Manning, because I think that was something that a lot of people were initially saying was somebody that deserved to be in. I'm agreeing kind of with you there. I don't think he should be in the first ballot. If I remember correctly, I believe he threw more touchdown passes to Vikings players than he did against Vikings teams. So there was a stretch where the Vikings played the Giants like 3 or 4 years in a row, and just about every one of those games he threw a pick six. So I'm like, that's not really Hall of Fame quarterback, and it's not like the defense was very good at that time. So, so
two months of his life, 2 months. I'd say 2 months of his life will get him in. Those two playoff runs will get him in.
Yep.
I agree. There's probably 10, 15 quarterbacks in his era that were absolutely better than him. But when you step up in the playoffs and you win 2 Super Bowls against Tom Brady, like, you're gonna get in.
Yeah, and that's a good point. But I think part of it too is just, I think sometimes Super Bowls are overrated, and winning a Super Bowl is a team statistic. I think it shouldn't necessarily always be quarterbacks, right? Better than anybody. Dan Marino gets knocked down the peg on all-time quarterbacks list.
Yes. You're not going to have to argue that with me at all.
He was my hero in Minnesota here, as a
he almost became a Viking.
Yeah, at the end of his career. Yeah, I know there was talking about him playing one more year, but then it was after Dante had been on the bench for 1 year, and he got the job. And anyway, so let's see here. So speaking of the smaller class, so do you know what the voting change happened with the voting system that caused it to be a smaller class than it has been in recent years?
Guessing they changed the percentage you have to get to vote, but I did not hear about that.
Me neither.
Okay, yeah. So they did. I believe they did increase it up to 80%. Have to be, but they went from, instead of going from 15 to 10 to 5, and then everybody voting either yes or no on those. They went from 15 to 10 to 7. So you're splitting those votes between 7 players, and by increasing it to 80%, there were some people that didn't hit that 80% mark because there were more people to vote for. And I don't know if they're limited to the number of votes, but so anyway, so having said that, is this voting process going to safeguard the HOF, the Hall of Fame prestige, or is it unfairly keeping out deserving players on their first ballot? What are your thoughts?
I'm okay with that. It feels like there's been several guys over the last decade that should have been in the Hall of Very Good, and you didn't really know a lot about them, and they were borderline. And as much as we talk about snubs, I do agree that the Hall of Fame should be in as exclusive a club as possible. So I'm okay with it. When you're starting to get to 7 or 8 guys per year that are getting in, it doesn't have the same prestige that it did. So I'm really okay with that, as long as we're not doing anything political just to let people in, but we're really like, who are the best players? What is the criteria from their generation? Are they the top at their positions in their generation? Those types of things. And we can talk about some of the players in the past that maybe got in that you're just like, I'm not totally sure that person is better than this person. But overall, like, I'm okay with it being as exclusive a club as possible.
Okay, yeah, I'm there with you on that. Alden, you have anything else to chime in on that subject?
Yeah, I'm okay with it too. The past Hall of Fame years, we've seen players get in who were like, okay, they got in over this player, they got in over that player. It's just there's, when you see a lot of players get in the same year, eventually you start to realize, okay, are these players really deserving it right away? Should, they wait until the next one, see if they can get in right away? There's players that from a long time ago that are still just now getting in. So I'm okay with it as well. On one condition, they better not snub Larry Fitzgerald when he's eligible next year. That's all I gotta say.
They won't. You're good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree there too. For me personally, I'm right there with you guys. I think it has, in some years, it feels like it has been the Hall of Very Good. Like there's some players, and sometimes it's hard to quantify it, but I think what you mentioned, Josh, is like having, dominance over their generation, right? If there's somebody like you talk about Larry Fitzgerald being one of the top 2 or 3 wide receivers for every year of, I don't know how many, 13, 14 years, however many years he played, and another Minnesota guy. So got to point that out too. Former Vikings ball boy in the late 90s with Randy Moss and Chris Carter. Those guys deserve to be in. But there are some times where it's just like, really, yeah, this guy was pretty good. He made it to, they talk about Pro Bowls, and I think that needs to be off the table as far as the criteria goes. But more All Pro teams, I think, would be a better way to do that. But yeah, it's just, come on, let's make sure it's the best of the best. When you look at the other finalists, Adam Vinatieri, okay, great kicker, kicked for a long time. But I think as a kicker or punter, you got to be pretty damn exceptional to get in the Hall of Fame. I mean, Ray Guy was a generational player as a punter. That I can see. But anyway, I'm not just having a bunch of really good players just kind of waters down the dominant players from each generation. Like some of the guys, Jim Marshall. And maybe I'm overestimating it because he's a Minnesota Viking. I've got my, purple sunglasses on or something like that, and drinking the Kool-Aid. But the guy played in 200 and started 282 consecutive games as a defensive end. That is,
all I remember from him is running the wrong way. Not gonna lie. All I remember from him is he's running the wrong way.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, he had the wrong way where he recovered that fumble against the 49ers and ran the wrong way and got a safety for the team. Team still won that game, so it's not so bad. But to start every game from 1961 until he retired, I think it was in 1978 or 79.
Wow. And
didn't miss a game. And it wasn't until Brett Favre came along and broke that streak. But playing quarterback, and Favre was tough, so he played through a lot of injuries. But the number of injuries that Jim Marshall would have played through, again, he's somebody that deserves to get in. Unfortunately, he passed away this year, and he's not going to be around to see that take place, because I think he's somebody that needs to get in there. So, all right, let's take one last quick break. We'll come back and got a few more questions for everybody. Again, you're watching Fourth and Fun here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Hey there, IE Sports Radio fans. Be sure to check out our sponsor, Seal the Deal Wax Seals by Cecilia B. You just finished your very own wedding or baby shower invitations and you're looking for that extra special touch? Maybe you just wrote a letter to a relative or a friend and you want to add to their smile when they receive it. Then seal the deal with Cecilia's handmade sealing wax stamps for your invitations, letters, and gifts. You bring the deal, we'll bring the seal. You can find them on Instagram at @sealthedeal_wax stamps and on Facebook, Seal the Deal Wax Seals.
For the last 10 years, IE Sports Radio has been bringing you amazing content ranging from interviewing legendary athletes, coaches, and other authorized media personnel to building tailor-made shows dedicated to all major sports cities around the country. Make sure to follow us at IE Sports Radio on X, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube to keep up with the latest in sports and with all of our shows. Also, make sure to check out our daily updated website at iesportsradio.com. At iesportsradio.com, you can see our daily show schedule and check out all of our show pages with personal bios to learn a little bit more about each of our awesome hosts. In addition to our show pages, you can catch the IE Sports Radio blog, Hall of Fame, Fans of the Month page, and our merchandise shop, including t-shirts, tank tops, caps, long sleeves, hoodies, and more. For now over a decade here at IE Sports Radio, we've continued to be by the fans, for the fans, and we thank you all for your support and for making IE Sports Radio your direct feed for all that is sports.
All right. Welcome back, everybody. Again, this is the final segment here of our Fourth and Fun show tonight. Again, thanks so much for Alden and Josh to join me today. Really appreciate you guys taking time out to join my show. As a scoring update, we are neck and neck, according to my little cheat sheet over here on the side. You guys are just killing it. So we're going to see how things go in this next lightning round. We've got some questions here real quick. First of all, who was named the NBA Summer League MVP? And as a bonus, who does he play for? Anybody know?
Kyle Filipowski for the Utah Jazz.
Ding, ding, ding. That is correct. All right, let me got to go down to the. There we go. I love this little button bar there. Good job. That was great. All right. So next question. Okay. Oh, so here's one. So based on the trade deadline deals, which MLB team now leads the league in RBIs and runs scored? It was impacted by one of the trades yesterday.
Talking about players on their team now.
Just as a team, which team?
I'll go Seattle.
Yeah, that'd probably be my guess.
Yeah, that is correct. So let me go back to my button bar. Ding, ding, ding.
Gino did all of that.
What's that?
Said Gino did all of that. 36 home runs and 97 RBIs.
Yeah.
Glen's twisting that knife.
Yeah. Trying really hard not to, guys. So who can name for me the rookie wide receiver last year who scored on a Hail Mary touchdown in what was called the NFC Moment of the Year for the 2024 season? Since Terry McLaurin is asking for a trade, they figured it would bring up a Washington Commanders.
The rookie from last year, right? Yeah.
I know it was the Commanders. I forgot the receiver.
Oh, geez. Yeah. Dang it. I have it on the tip of my tongue, but I can't remember.
Was it wasn't he on the or Noah Brown or something like that?
That is correct. It was Noah Brown. Well done. Too bad Adam's not watching to have a comment about was it Dominique Stevenson and his not paying attention to.
I think from that point on, the Bears didn't win a game until the very last game of the season.
He was talking about it on his video with the 3 and out 8 divisions in 8 days thing that Larry did yesterday, which was fantastic. If you haven't watched, I haven't been able to watch all the other ones, but I did watch the NFC North one, and that was the start of a 10-game losing streak for the Bears. So
4-2 to 5-12 is rough.
Yes, exactly. And for a while, it was like, boy, which team from the NFC North is not going to make the playoffs?
I remember I think Green Bay was last in their division at one point, and they were like 6-2 or 5-2, somewhere along those lines.
Yeah. Well,
because the Vikings
yeah,
were unbeaten, and then Detroit had
yeah,
one loss, and then Chicago and Green Bay were at the bottom with like 2 losses at that time.
yeah. I think they both like at that time, like both of them were 3-2 or something like that. Well, they were 4-2. I don't know when each team had their bye weeks, but anyway, okay. All right. So final challenge here. Let's spend some time going through this. I want you to make a bold prediction of a headline that's going to happen by next week's show. Anything that you can think of that you think is going to be just a crazy out there, something that's going to happen over this next week.
Go ahead, Ollie.
This is for like any
sport,
anything.
Throw out anything.
I mean, all I could really think of is the Commanders will accept Terry McLaurin's wish and trade him to a team that's in contention. It's kind of all I can really think of right now. If he doesn't get the money, because I know, it right after the Commanders make a title game, if it were all about winning, that wouldn't be the reason why. So Terry McLaurin gets traded to a certain AFC team, hopefully not the Chiefs or something, but Terry McLaurin to an AFC.
But the Bills. Anybody but the Bills.
Okay, so Terry McLaurin getting traded. Okay, I could see that happening. All right, Josh, how about for you?
Yeah, so I'm not sure Alden's going to love this, but I feel like in the next week, the Phoenix Suns are going to give up entirely too much to acquire Jonathan Kuminga from the Warriors, and we're going to give him entirely too much money. And
yeah,
I like the player. I like his age.
I do.
But I feel like they're going to give up. And if they give up Ryan Dunn, they're going to hear about it. They better not give up Ryan Dunn.
I don't think that'll happen because Gambo, and I don't know if Glenn knows,
yeah,
but Gambo,
I saw that. Yeah,
he's the most reliable Arizona sports newsbreaker you can ever count on. He said the Suns will not be moving on from Ryan Dunn. So
they better not.
I saw the recent trade, the recent sign and trade offer for Jonathan Kuminga that the Suns made was, I think it was Royce O'Neal, I think Nick Richards, and then 4 second-round picks.
I'm not even sure we have 4 second-round picks to give.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's
and Gambo made a joke about that too. He said, "Oh, we traded all those second-round picks when they got Bradley Beal." So it's like,
I just know Matt Ishbia likes the bright shiny object, and I'm worried he's going to give the Warriors what they want. And
see, money is nothing for Ishbia. We all know that. So it's not really about the money for me. It's just the guy. I don't think he's really, and I give him the benefit of the doubt. Steve Kerr kind of ruined his role on the Warriors, but he hasn't really done anything in my eyes that say, oh yeah, he's worth 70, 80, 90 million dollars.
For me, and for me, he's just not a guy that you give up your ability to be under the first apron of the cap for.
Yeah.
So I'm very wary about that trade, but I feel like they're going to pull the trigger just to pull the trigger, and it's ultimately going to backfire. I kind of like the team the way it is. And yeah, they're going to win 30 to 35 games this year, but who cares? They're finally athletic for the first time in like a decade. I would love to watch that for a year. So just stay with what you have, but I don't feel like Ishbia is going to do it. And I feel like the Warriors are going to squeeze us for a little bit more than what we should be giving up to get him, especially with the contract, 4 years, 90 million. Or is that's what I heard? Like, that's way too much money. It's too much money. So, but I feel like he's going to do it. So that's my prediction.
It would not surprise me at all.
Yeah.
Okay. I think it's a tough year for some of these restricted free agents in the NBA because nobody really has cap space to actually sign somebody outright. I think next season is when they're saying that there's going to be more cap space. The cap's going to jump again and stuff like that. But so yeah. And for the Suns, as a non-Phoenix Suns fan, but an NBA fan, I thought it was the way that the roster was constructed previously with Booker, Beal, and Durant was not a good mix. You just had all three guys that all needed the ball in their hand to be successful. It didn't really have a team kind of a atmosphere to their game. Didn't really have good defensive players. It's just a weird mix. And I think adding Jonathan Kuminga after getting rid of after Beal and Durant moving on, how is he going to fit in with Booker? Is he going to be deferring to Booker, or would those two be the two main scorers in that?
I don't even know that he doesn't fit with that system. I even think that it would increase the amount of Suns wins if they don't trade, like I said, Ryan Dunn. If they're just trading Grayson Allen, Royce O'Neal, and some picks like that, or Nick Richards and some picks, they got a lot of centers. I think it would increase their short-term wins. I just don't know that getting rid of your flexibility under the cap makes sense for a team that you're not trying to necessarily win next year. So for me, it's not about fit. It's about flexibility down the line.
Okay.
Yeah, they can't, they already blew a majority of their future. They don't have a lot of draft picks. They have to get draft picks via trades now because they blew all their draft picks away because they thought forming a Brooklyn 2.0 was going to get them their title, but it didn't work out. And now you're looking at Devin Booker being a point guard once again, and it just feels like this team's not trying. So they give the vibes that they're not trying to win right now. Because I'm sorry, Devin Booker is not a point guard.
No,
he's not a point guard. He came into this league as a shooting guard. He was a shooting guard at Kentucky. He came off the bench. He's always been a shooting guard. But then I remember a while back they said Jalen Green was also going to be the point guard. So it kind of feels like they don't know what they're doing right now. So why would you put Jonathan Kuminga in that situation to make things even more confusing? That's just what I don't get about the Suns. This isn't a try to go win a championship type year. They already blew their window. So now they have to try reopening it again by getting all these young guys, which they were able to do with Kaman Malawash, Kobe Brea, who's doing pretty good in summer league right now. And Oso Ighodaro and Ryan Dunn going into year 2, who are also having a good summer league. So they have the young guys now. So I don't know why they would go over the cap yet again, trade more draft picks. Sure, if you want to get rid of centers, go right ahead. They do have a lot of centers already. So if you want to trade Kuminga for that, then be my guest, but just why would you throw that in with a bunch of other issues that you're trying to figure out right now? That's my only concern.
And I'm totally down. Like, Booker's the best player we've ever had on our team, but if I'm gonna watch Devin Booker walk the ball up the court and get trapped right after he crosses half court and not know where to go with the ball, because it's not his strength, I'm okay with that as long as we're committed to staying under the cap, having a 30-win season, and developing our young guys. I can live with it. But if we're going to go all in and go back into the first apron for a guy that isn't going to change that scenario at all, we're still going to watch Devin Booker walk the ball up the court and get trapped at half court because teams know that's not his strength. I don't want to watch that if I'm not seeing the other development from the team. And if we're going to watch a point book, we better be in a development situation and not throwing money at players that are mid-level players in the NBA.
All right, fair enough. I do have to throw out Brian's comment when we were talking about Terry McLaurin. He wants him to go to the Patriots. What do you think about that, Josh?
Why would you want to go to the Patriots?
They could use him.
That's a step back. Give me a break. That is not happening.
They could use him.
Of course they could use him. Yeah. I just don't know why he would want to go there. And he's got enough tenure in the league now, like he can dictate. Like that's not a championship contender. I'm not going there.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I don't see. I think it's them having. I really don't understand them, signing Stephon Diggs either. But because I don't think Diggs has anything left. Brian now says,
Let's say
I knew Josh would not be
they had a good offseason. I know Josh doesn't like hearing it. They had a good offseason. So
No, they
you never
did.
know.
They did. I will say, and I said this in my 8 divisions in 8 days preview. When Drake May has a CJ Stroud like season, don't come crying to me, because Stephon Diggs, the first time he doesn't get enough targets, is going to make Drake May's life hell, and I'm going to be here for it.
Yeah, and as a Vikings fan, after the Minneapolis Miracle, I'm very glad that they moved on from him and were able to get the first round pick to draft Justin Jefferson, because everything that he's done since he left has been nothing but short of being a cancer for other teams. So yeah, I do. Brian, I hope you're going to be okay this season with having Diggs on the bench, but maybe Vrabel will be Vrabel's the coach there, right? No, or is it Mayo?
Yeah.
Okay,
it is Vrabel. Yep,
Vrabel. Okay, yeah. I think he can be somebody that keeps him in line.
He won't put up with Diggs' BS. Like, as soon as that starts happening, it'll go bad real fast.
Brian said, "Can't be any worse than last year."
It can't. No.
Yeah. I understand there, Brian. I agree. All right. So one last quick question for you guys. Should the NFL exhibition games be discontinued?
Go ahead,
Exhibition games. No, I don't think so. Oh, reduced. I mean, I can understand reduced, but discontinued, no. If we're talking not just this and then the preseason games as well, that's that's way of teams to figure out who they want on their team. That's before the season comes around, who they figure out who they want to keep, who they want to get rid of, and then basically set their team for the next season. That's the whole point of them. So no, I don't think they should be discontinued, but the NFL, they are going to do whatever it takes to keep their players safe, especially when fans are watching the NFL the NFL's at an all-time viewership high. So as long as fans are increasing the NFL's revenue, they're going to keep doing whatever it takes to protect the players, I guess. But they're gonna, the more games that they add, which we could be looking at a even longer NFL season within the next year or two, they're gonna do whatever it takes to water down the physicality of the game and protect the players. So if it comes down to exhibition games being discontinued, then it is what it is. But no, I don't think they should be. But I'll let Josh give his thoughts, but that's just how I see it.
Okay.
So I put way too much thought into this, and I have a solution. When they won't, first of all, because there's too much money in packing a stadium for a preseason game, and I get that. But when you talk to NFL players and you talk to coaches, and they talk about the preseason, what they get the most out of, it's not training camp and it's not preseason games. It's joint practices. That's where they get the most information on their teams. So my proposal would be, right now, joint practices generally are free or very reduced pricing for the fans of the team that hosts, and they can watch the joint practices. My thing would be, make it a regional thing. So let's just take the Dolphins, for instance. You have Miami, Tampa, Jacksonville, and Atlanta, and they rotate three. You do joint practices with 3 teams, 2 days each, in the other team's big stadium, and you allow the fans to come in for a very reduced price and watch the joint practices. There's no full game situation. The quarterbacks are protected, just like in joint practices, but they're events. They're held on the weekends, and these teams do whatever they do in joint practices, so they get the benefit of playing against another team, but you don't have a live game where you have to subject your starters and your quarterbacks to these violent hits, blindside sacks, things like that. That's the reason why they don't want to play these players in the preseason. And so you end up watching third stringers. There's value in that for the third stringers, but really at the end of the day, if you're putting a product on the field that is so subpar because you're not playing any starters, the NFL fans feel cheated by their money. So you give a reduced price, but you make these joint practices an event where you're selling, concessions and all these things, and it's in the big stadiums, and you get the best of both worlds. The teams have investment in it because everyone's out there. For the Dolphins, Tyreek Hill's catching touchdowns from Tua Tagovailoa being guarded by the best cornerback for the Jaguars. Like fans get to experience that without worrying that their best players are going to get hurt as well. So I think that would be a good place to go, where the preseason is a glorified training camp, but you don't worry about your best players getting hurt, or teams aren't holding players back because of that.
That is a fantastic idea, because as a Vikings fan, I haven't seen a starter play in a preseason game in probably since Kevin O'Connell got here. And all of the evaluation for starters and things like that take place in those joint practices. And so in my mind, I'm there with you on that. On the other side, I do see the flip side about those backup players getting some playing time and having film out there for their next job if they don't make the 53-man roster or the practice squad for each specific team. For their next job, they need to have some film out there too. So, if there's a way to combine those ideas and things, that would be fantastic. I think you're really onto something there, Josh. All right. So fantastic conversation, guys. Really, and I was just blown away here with everything. You guys are absolutely fantastic. And let's see here. To got to add up the scores here. Boy, it's a hard choice. But sorry, I think we're going to have a back-to-back winner there, Josh. So he was the winner last week. And just that last comment about the joint practices and having that kind of an idea out there is I got to give you the win. Edged it out a little bit. So great job again. Oh yeah, let's do that heavy cheering again. Well done. You pretty much going to take over hosting of the show with me the way that that you're putting these wins together.
I was so impressed with that Noah Brown that you pulled that out, Alden. I would not have been surprised if you won on that comment. That was impressive.
I have
again,
family.
It was nip and tuck. You guys are both fantastic.
See, I know that because I have a lot of family who are Bears fans, and they just can't stop talking about how bad their season went when that Hail Mary happened, and it just went downhill from there. Like, they were talking Caleb Williams, Rookie of the Year. He's going to lead them to a playoff win at the 4-2 record, and now after that Hail Mary by Noah Brown, it just all went to crap.
Yeah. There's a lot of fun though.
Awesome. Again, thanks guys for tuning in. So Alden, where can people find you again?
Yeah, so you can look for me on X, Arizona_IESR, where sometimes Josh's videos are actually on there too when he talks about the Phoenix Suns as well. So you can probably see both of us on there at times. And like Josh made that prediction earlier, you might even see a Jonathan Kuminga video from both of us coming soon, because we know Ishbia is an overpair. But yeah, you can mainly find me on X. That's where I'm most active. Just that on the IE Sports Radio account. That's where I give a bunch of retweets and updates, get my thoughts on the short videos, this and that. I did a lot of Diamondbacks today. Big time sellers. They traded all of their guys. I have a couple videos I got to make right after we wrap this up regarding the Diamondbacks. But other than that, Cardinals training camp, I'll talk about that a little bit more. The only news that really came out was our first round pick, Walter Nolan, got injured, and he might be injured going into the season. So we'll see how that progresses. But a lot of Arizona sports news came up recently, and I'll give some updates on that here pretty soon.
Awesome. All right. Thanks. It's too bad about Walter Nolan. He was somebody that, as a Vikings fan, I had my eye on because I knew that they needed to address the defensive tackle position in the offseason. So they didn't go in that direction during the draft, but they did make that happen. So how about you, Josh? How can everybody find you?
So on X, you can find me at Josh Ritter 13. You'll see all my videos reposted there. But I spend most of my time now on TikTok, actually. I'm building a TikTok following. So if you're on TikTok, go to josh.ritter57. I post daily videos on there about the Miami Dolphins. Actually, today might be the first day I don't post, although you loved my idea about preseason so much, I may post that tonight.
There you go.
On my TikTok page and talk about that, because I do think that needs to be changed. But yeah, I've been posting every day about the Dolphins training camp on there and tagging IE Sports Radio in that. So if you're on that particular application and you want to follow me, I'm trying to build that into something that's serious. So go out there and check me out.
Awesome. All right. Well, I will have to create a TikTok account to do that, to see all, and get the ball rolling here as well too. So again, thanks for tuning in. Glen Ritter here, Fourth and Fun and Minnesota Insider for IE Sports Radio. Thanks for tuning in, everyone, and have a great week. And we will see you next Thursday night at 7 p.m. Central, 8 o'clock Eastern. Take care, everyone.